Hello everyone, I am Zazubaar, and welcome to the third episode of ZGC Monthly Reviews. With me today I have the ever-impending GORIZARD 7. And also with me, I have the ever-losing-his-voice, Chopper Pilot 5.
Okay, I was an idiot. I went to a dance. You know what? I had fun, alright? So, yeah, of course, I'm losing my voice.
You know what, Adam? It's more important to do silly internet reviews than have fun.
Well, not in my book.
Well, your book is wrong. So today on this ZGC Monthly Review episode, we are going to be reviewing Tron Legacy from 2010, not 2007, which was made in 2010. So, where I kind of wanted to start with this was, I wanted to ask you guys both, are you guys fans of Tron?
Indeed.
Definitely. Huge fan of Tron.
Oh, well, I'm the black horse of this review. I only just watched the original movie last weekend, and I'm going to be posting a review of it, or I guess when this goes up, because we're recording this way in advance of when it'll be posted. So I guess by the time it's gone up, I'll post my Tron review to preface this. So you guys can check out that when it gets posted to see my opinions of the first film. But
okay, so don't get all confusing. You know, don't go Godzilla versus King Ghidorah on us, because we're talking about the past, but it's going to be in the future. But then it's going to be in the past. So. And
then we're going to pretend like the past happened in the future, even though the past was erased.
Because remember, when doing talks like this, we must remember how stupid our audience is.
Right.
Remember.
Right. And to all you people out there, Adam's just kidding.
I just lost 5 subscribers. Shit.
A little more than that. All right. So let's let me just say this. I'm not a fan of Tron. I've always heard of it. I've always known what the whole deal is with it. I always knew it was virtual reality, kind of a live-action video game, not in the same way as Super Mario Brothers. In a way of it's kind of just like a 8-bit game translated to screen. And I finally sat down and watched the original. Actually, after I saw Tron Legacy, so it was kind of weird. It was kind of like it kind of focuses like a prequel that came out before the sequel. It's weird. So that leads me to this. Do you guys think this works better as a sequel or as a standalone kind of tribute?
I would have to say it works better as a tribute because I really had a hard time believing that this was a direct sequel to the original Tron. Because if you look at the original Tron and the new one, there's like kind of like this strange, kind of like this out of place feeling that you get if you watch the two together. And I don't know, it works well as a tribute rather than a sequel, but you know. It could work either way for me.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I kind of felt the same way about Tron Legacy as I did about Superman Returns, and not in terms of the movie's quality, but in terms of, like, the way it worked as a sequel to a movie that came out over 20 years ago. In that it doesn't really follow the same continuity per se. I think Tron got a little closer than Superman Returns did, but even still, for one, you don't have to see the original clearly to see this one. I didn't see Tron before I saw Tron Legacy, and I was able to understand it well. And also, the look and story is more kind of based on Tron rather than continuing the same story. So I have to agree with you, GORIZARD. I have to say this works better as a tribute than a sequel. So, Adam.
Well, I would look at it as if I'm looking at Gettysburg and Gods and Generals, which, not advertising or anything, but I just did a really, really, really lengthy review about the director's cuts. Anyways, But you see, they were made 10 years apart from each other, and if you look at them, you can tell that they're in the same continuity, but they're so drastically different from each other. And I would have to look at Tron Legacy and the original Tron in that fashion. I definitely would have to say you don't need to see Tron. I will agree with you that. You don't need to see Tron in order to get Tron Legacy, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. But it's the same way with Gettysburg and Gods and Generals. You don't need to see one or the other for each other in order to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we're pretty much all on the same plane of thought here, that it works a little better as kind of a film that's based on something else and not really continuing from it.
The problem is that it's just like 20 years too late. Like, it really worked better if they made it like 2 years after the original release of the first film.
Which I'm surprised they didn't do.
Well, Tron wasn't a big hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think Tron was a big hit when it first came out, but now, of course, it's gotten quite a big audience.
Yeah, it's a cult classic.
Yes. And that's what it is. It's not a classic, it's a cult classic.
Right. GORIZARD, you were saying something?
Right. Well, like Chopper said, initially it was a flop at the box office, but for some reason it gained a cult following later on in its video releases.
Kind of like Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
Which was unfortunate. Alright, so now I think we should get into the film itself, Tron Legacy itself. The story, well, it's a little confusing to me. And I don't know if it's the same way for you guys, but I found it a bit confusing the first time I saw it, and only after seeing it this next time. By the way, I've only seen the film twice in total. The original time I saw it in theaters, and this previous time when I watched it on Starz. And the plot is basically this. The son of the protagonist from the first film, Kevin Flynn, now his son's name is Sam Flynn, excuse me, has discovered the gateway into the grid, and Kevin Flynn, who's played by Jeff Bridges, was lost in the grid about 20 years before the film's present setting. His son goes into the grid to look for him. Not really. I guess he really doesn't expect to find much. I think he's kind of forgotten this whole idea of the grid as being anything truthful. Well, at least that's what the film suggests when we see him as more of an adult than a child. Because as a child he buys into it, but when he's an adult, he's kind of forgotten about it and doesn't really seem to think it exists anymore. He kind of thinks that his dad ran off with another woman, which I think is suggested in that opening scene. And once he gets into the grid, he's put in a similar gladiatorial kind of combat as his father is in the first film. He goes through the disc battle, the motorcycle battle, and then, well, at first he discovers that the leader of this world, the grid, which has changed much after the first film, is his father's old creation, Clue, from the first film, who we only briefly saw in the first film, but he's more of the main antagonist here.
Okay, I got to bring something up about Clue.
Sure, go ahead.
This is a different Clue.
No, I knew that, but it's the same kind of program.
Yes.
Because they're both
just way more sophisticated.
Right, they're both played by Jeff Bridges back from the 80s.
Yep.
Which I want to get into later. I don't want to get into it now, but I want to talk about Clue as a villain a little later. And Clue is kind of a dictator amongst the grid. He calls himself kind of a liberator of the programs of the grid, since users have all but died out. And now they're just all programs. And he says that he's their liberator, kind of their savior, kind of their Christ in a weird way. And he's interested in finding the, what is it called, the memory disc, the thing that's on their backs?
Yeah.
The memory disc of Sam Flynn's dad. Because initially Sam thinks that Clue is his dad since they both look similar, and he assumes that maybe his dad is an age since he's been in the digital world. It turns out that's not true. He learns that Clue is not his dad when he tries to kill him, and he's sent into the motorcycle combat. And then after the motorcycle combat ends and he's about to be killed, he's saved by a mysterious figure driving a big-ass, like, car thing. That kind of reminds me of the Batmobile, in a weird way. Or something from Power Rangers, I don't know. Take that as you will. And breaks him out of the grid. Or the grid city. I forget if they gave it another name than that. They pretty much get out of the city, and they go into kind of this outland kind of area. And I guess it's supposed to be kind of like the area that hasn't been developed digitally yet. And this figure, who we learn is a program named Cora, Cora brings Sam to his father, who is, of course, alive, but very much so old. He's pretty much Jeff Bridges' age as he is now. And he's kind of given up in terms of trying to regain control of the grid. And but Sam wants to fight back against Clue, but of course Kevin just wants to kind of sit back and let things fall where they may. So Sam wants to try, and at first just to escape. He wants to get through the portal, as it's called, and he doesn't know how to get there though. So he ditches the place where him, Cora, and his father have been staying, and goes back to the grid, and he finds this program named Zeus. And Zeus is kind of I guess kind of like a crime boss in a weird way, in that he's kind of the guy who does you a favor and then he expects a favor back. And Zeus double crosses him though, in that he gets Clue to come to his bar that he owns, and Clue tries to again kill Sam, and ends up injuring Cora, who was there to help Sam sweeten the deal and get the hell out of there. And they escape, and then through a series of very confusing action scenes and dialogue scenes, first Clue gets Kevin Flynn's memory disk, because Kevin Flynn goes to the bar to try and save his son. Cora and Sam retrieve the memory disk. They give it back to Kevin. Clue chases them. They get to the portal. But Kevin has to sacrifice himself to save his son's new girlfriend, so they can get through the portal. But sneaks his memory disk onto Cora and replaces it. He switches them. So now he has Cora's. Clue grabs it up, thinks it's hers, thinks it's his actually, I'm sorry. And Kevin destroys Clue, and I believe the rest of the grid.
No.
He destroys something. He slams down something. There's a giant shockwave, an explosion occurs, Clue dies.
Supernova.
Right. Something akin to how Godzilla died. And they escape, they return to the real world, and we have a beautiful ending. That's pretty much Tron Legacy in a nutshell. I know it sounds confusing. It certainly confused me when I first saw it. So that's pretty much the story. So, since you guys like this movie better than I do, and you guys consider yourself Tron fans, so what do you guys think of the story overall?
I love it. I know it just came out, but I gotta say this. I have a lens of nostalgia for this movie already, because when I went to see it, I was having one of the best days of my life, and I went to see it, and when I went there, I wasn't expecting anything. In fact, I really didn't want to go see Tron Legacy, because I was really worried that it would be a horrible movie, but I went to see it, and I sort of opened my mind to it, and I'm like, okay, here's what I want. I want a bad plot, or a really corny plot. I want great music by Daft Punk, and I want Jeff Bridges, and I got all three. So it left me satisfied, and that's simply sort of like what I like about it now, is that I believe that the plot was simple enough that almost anybody could get it, but yet complicated enough that somebody who's looking at it from a different angle would really, really enjoy it. And that's how I look at it. And I know, I'm not sure if you brought this up, but in the beginning, if you notice that Kevin is showing Sam, young Sam, these like little miniature like action figures from Tron, And those are actually the action figures that were distributed by Disney when the movie was first released. And if you look carefully, you'll see a poster in the background that is the actual poster of the original movie.
Yeah, I caught that.
I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too. I love that whole opening scene, by the way.
Yeah, the opening scene was really cool. It was really mysterious and really dark. And if you ask me, it was rather well shot, like the rest of the movie. But
yeah, I like the first scene too. So Gorizard, what did you think of the plot overall?
I guess I'm on a different page than Chopper, but I think the plot kind of damaged the film a little bit. That's my only flaw with the movie. Everything else is great, but the one thing that I have a problem with is the story. It's just it's flat. It just seems that they were trying to pull off some sort of a original story, but it came out more generic than what they planned. And
I'm not
out of the story. Go on.
I'm not denying that it's generic. As I said, it is corny. The plot is corny and really stereotypical. I will say that. But I just got the nostalgia factor going for me.
I guess I expected more for the story because, the filmmakers, they went all out to make the special effects look completely realistic, and I kind of expected them to do the same with the story, but an hour into the movie, it was just like any other action movie I've seen before. Guys really go into enemy territory, they get what they want, now they gotta get out. It's something I've seen before, but other than that, the movie's good, but the story was too flat for me.
I agree. And Adam, I got to admit, when I first saw the movie, I went in with kind of the same expectations. Friday night movie. You go with a friend. You see this, you want to be entertained. You really don't expect to be wowed. But then I looked at a couple of reviews because we weren't going to go see it either. We were going to see something else. There was some other movie out that we had planned on. Black Swan was out at the same time, but we couldn't get someone to take us, so we ended up seeing Tron Legacy because we weren't old enough to see Black Swan, and it wasn't in the same theater, so we couldn't sneak in. Because, I'm cool like that.
Lame-o.
So, it wasn't in the same theater. Never mind. Anyway, here's how I feel about the story. I agree. It's really, really generic once you get to the grid. Now, as I said, I don't think I like this movie nearly as much as you guys do. And the part I really, really like is everything before he gets on the grid. Everything from when he's a child to when he's riding around the city on a motorcycle to when he gets into the arcade. My favorite scene in the movie, as a matter of fact, is when he gets into the arcade because it's just 80s fest, and that's awesome. And strangely enough, I feel like the best cinematography in the film was all the retro stuff, in the Flynn's arcade, Sam's bedroom, and the Encom tower. I felt like that was the best cinematography in the film because, again, like Adam said, it felt mysterious, and it felt retro. I felt a lens of nostalgia for that period because a lot of films I love come from the 80s, Ghostbusters, stuff like that. And everything after that, as Gorizard said, is a generic action movie, and I felt myself taken out of the film. The only parts I was able to muster up enough energy to pay attention was in the action scenes. And I hate saying that because I don't like to sit in a movie theater and just let my brain die and just be impressed by the stuff blowing up. And don't get me wrong, the action is wonderfully put together in this. The stunts and the movements and the lighting is all great. That's all fantastic. But that's the only parts I cared about. I didn't care about the dialogue scenes because, one, I didn't like the acting, but I'll get into that in the next segment. I liked him again in the opening couple scenes. The stuff where he was driving around the city, causing trouble, pretty much being a spoiled rich kid. He kind of reminded me of Tony Stark a little bit. Someone who doesn't have a lot of responsibilities, but he's got a lot of money, a lot of style, and he likes to do some pretty insane stuff. I liked that. I really kind of got behind him because I'm a big fan of Iron Man, so I got behind that. But then he got on the grid, and at first when he was cracking jokes and being sarcastic, just like Jeff Bridges was in the first movie when he first got on the grid, I was fine with it. I still felt some connection to him. Everything after that, when it was trying to get me to kind of muster up some sympathy for him, when he met his dad again, and when he met Clue, that's when it fell apart. I thought that he was generic. I thought that he was a little bit monotone even. And I thought he was monotone, thought he was generic, and I just didn't care anymore. Because he'd lost all the sarcastic wit. He'd lost the rich boy attitude. And he seemed like a different person to me. He seemed like generic action hero now who has to blow stuff up and fight people. And in the end, I just kind of lost any interest in his character and his acting that I had. Jeff Bridges is Kevin Flynn and Clue. I know I'm definitely going to be the only one with this opinion, since Adam and I talked about this before we started recording over the week. He sounds bored to me.
How don't you like his acting? Oh, shit.
This is the only movie I've ever seen of his where I didn't like his acting. And he just sounded bored. He was a little flat to me. And I thought again that that's what his character might be from the first film. And then I watched the first movie. No, he was more like his son is. He in the beginning. He's sarcastic. He's got a nice wit. He's kind of got the opposite though. He doesn't have a rich boy complex. He's kind of got like a bad boy, a child in a grown man's body kind of complex. And I don't know, in this film, he felt like a different person to me, and he felt flat and bored. Not like he didn't want to be there. I felt like he honestly wanted to be in this movie. But he just felt a little flat to me. As Clue, I thought he was awesome. Really liked him as Clue. I thought that he was menacing. I thought that he does a lot with his face as Clue. And that's funny because it's mostly a CG performance because it's enhancements. But that face seems so quiet and so reserved that he looks menacing and kind of like a devil in a weird way. Who does a lot from behind the scenes, doesn't do a lot with his fists and with his own actions, but he seemed like he was capable of inflicting a lot of pain. And like he had no emotion. And again, he's a program, so I like that. So I liked him as Clue. Thought he sounded bored as Kevin Flynn. The only other person I want to touch on is Olivia Wilde as Cora. Didn't really get much of an impression out of her. I don't know about you guys.
You don't want to talk about Zeus? Zeus is my favorite guy in the entire movie.
Oh, Zeus!
Every single time he was on screen, I was laughing.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked him. I liked the British accent.
He was making fun of David Bowie.
Oh, really?
David Bowie was supposed to play him, but David Bowie was out doing something else, and so they hired him to do it. And,
Michael Sheen is his name.
Michael Sheen, and who ironically is one of my favorite actors. And I didn't know it was him when I watched it because he looks so different than what he normally does. But oh my God, every single time I saw him, I was just laughing, especially during the fight scene. He just goes crazy.
Yeah, I like that too, I'll admit.
He's like, behold the son of Omega. And then he gets this little cane thing, he starts shooting it like a machine gun.
Yeah.
The entire fight scene actually was pretty kick-ass.
I like the DJs, too, which is actually played by Daft Punk themselves.
Yeah, that's Daft Punk. That was a cool cameo.
Yeah, and I like that they just like change the song when the fight comes out.
That's just funny and a bit disturbing.
Yeah, but it was cool. I liked it. Again,
but I love it when all of a sudden Jeff Bridges is there and everything stops, and they just like look at him and he looks up. He's like, "Oh, Jeff Bridges is here. Shit's about to hit the fan."
Yeah,
and I also like how he walks out. I know it's a tiny moment, but he walks out like he's God. And it's so funny because people are bowing and like praying to him, and he just has his arms held out. He's wearing a robe. So funny. And the thing is, this movie isn't really, I don't feel like it was trying to take itself too seriously.
I disagree. I don't know. I felt like it was trying to make me take it seriously, and that's kind of why the story and the acting didn't work for me.
I will agree with you that Sam Flynn annoys the crap out of me. He's a whiny little brat, and I don't like those types of characters that you like, clearly, because I don't like Iron Man, and his character annoys the absolute living crap out of me. Okay. And I hate those types of characters, so I was like biting my tongue while watching Sam. Cora was a little dry, but I thought she had some great one-liners, and having good looks also helps. And
yeah, that kind of helps when you're wearing skin-tight black leather.
Yeah. And Jeff Bridges, I loved him, and I do think that he sounds bored, but I think the director told him to sound bored because he's been in there for 20 years, and he's been in exile for quite a while, so he would be rather bored. So I think he would be rather bored, and I definitely have to say, and you probably won't agree with this, but as the movie continues or progresses, Jeff Bridges as Kevin, he gets more energetic, and I think his performance improves as the movie continues, especially the ending, which I have to say is one of the most beautifully shot endings I've ever seen, but we'll probably get to that a little later. But
yes,
I loved Clue, and I have to say the relationship between Kevin and Clue is one of my favorites.
I like that too.
Because the thing that I really like is how Clue, really all he wanted to do was to make Kevin happy.
Yeah, I like that too.
And when the ISOs came, that was shattered into pieces. And he was programmed to create the perfect system, which that's also funny, the flashback scene. Am I still supposed to be the creator of the perfect system? And then Kevin just stands there for a little bit, like, yeah. And then he backs away and the coup d'etat starts. But I love Jeff Bridges in this movie. Jeff Bridges and Zeus are my two favorite people in the entire movie. Yeah.
What do you think of what they did with Tron himself?
I like how they didn't show his face.
I hated what they did with Tron.
Yeah, I didn't like how he didn't have any FaceTime. I mean, I know why they didn't do it, because the guy who plays Tron and Alan, Bruce. Oh my God, Bruce Boxleitner maybe didn't want to do the action. Because, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Jeff Bridges' Clue didn't really have to do much fighting with his face shown. I mean, when he got on the motorcycle, he had a helmet on, so.
But technically, okay, I have the Blu-ray for Tron Legacy. Apparently, the actor who played Clue wasn't exactly Jeff Bridges. What they did was they got a stunt double, and he imitated the same body language Jeff Bridges did for Clue upon pre-rehearsals, something like that. And then they added Jeff Bridges' face onto the stunt double later in post-production.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what happened.
They could have done the same thing for Tron. I mean, by making him the main character, just someone else to do it, and then just put Bruce Boxleitner's face over the stunt double.
Yeah, I will say that. What I liked about Tron in this is I like the aspect that he's been indoctrinated into fighting for Clue. And it's not till he's about to kill the person who helped him out in the first film.
Right, I like that too. Now that I've seen the
I did like that. But again, I did not like Tron. I thought Tron should have had more screen time.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? People say that the first movie shouldn't have been called Tron. They thought that the movie was only called that because it's a cool sounding word, and that he's not really the protagonist. Here's the thing. He is technically the main hero in the first movie.
Yes.
Kevin Flynn only really gives him the opening he needs to destroy the master program. In this, you know, the only real thing that the title stands for is that the first one was called that. Now we've got to call the sequel Tron.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, he's not even called Tron. He's called Rinsler.
No, he's not. He's called Tron.
Well, he is called that, but when he's in the present time, he's called Rinsler.
No, he's called Tron.
The game has been a clue transforms Tron into Rinsler.
Yes. But Jeff Bridges, Kevin, always called him Tron.
Right, but I mean, like the general, you know, idea was that he was not really Tron anymore.
And may I just say he has one of the best lines in the movie too, and that's when he's like, "I fight for the user."
Yeah, I like that too. That was when the movie sounded epic to me. And it's funny because that's actually my least favorite action scene with the planes.
Yeah, I don't like that. That felt like a Star Wars ripoff.
Yeah, me too. The only thing I like
I'm
about
actually not sure. Maybe they did that on purpose, but I don't know. I hate all those one-liners that Sam says in that entire sequence.
Well, I didn't like him. I just said that. Well, what I was talking about before was that like it at least gave him a little bit of energy. And I don't know. It worked better towards his performance not sounding flat to me, and everything else sounded flat to me. So GORIZARD, you really haven't given your overall opinions of the acting. So, what do you think of the overall acting?
I honestly didn't pay attention too much to the acting because this is Disney. I mean, yeah, come on. Like, I really didn't pay attention to the acting in Pirates of the Caribbean or Prince of Persia. I was just there for the movie. But at times I did feel like the acting was a little bit dragged on too much. And I hate to say this, especially with Chopper on the line, but I didn't like Michael Sheen's character at all. I found Zeus completely pointless. Especially, they inserted that character into the movie just so they can have a reason to put up a fight scene in a nightclub. And I also thought the nightclub scene a bit pointless too, mainly because of Zeus. But overall, I didn't like Michael Sheen. I thought Zeus served no purpose to the story or anything. He was just there for the sake of being there. And Olivia Wilde, I know they give her like some sort of political backstory as to why she's there, but at times I just
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, crap.
Not again. You know what? We should just keep this in the video.
We might. Go.
I thought the character of Zeus was kind of pointless, and I don't know, he was just there for the sake of being there. I just felt that they needed that character just so they could have a reason to put up that fight scene in the nightclub. And it just seemed pointless and just seemed useless. And Michael Sheen, he just like I didn't find him funny at all. I found him annoying. I just felt like I just felt cringy each time I saw this character on the screen. And I felt that he served no purpose at all to the story or plot. He was just there for the sake of being there. And that was the filmmaker's reason for just putting up that fight scene in the nightclub.
Adam's on his way to Las Vegas to murder you. No, I'm kidding.
I know they gave Olivia Wilde like a logical reason for character, for why she's there, but at times
I'm coming, GORIZARD.
Huh?
He said he's booked. I'm coming.
Anyways, I thought Olivia Wilde was just like, virtual. I just felt like he was just there. Fucking action movies, you always gotta have pussy. You just always gotta have a female in action movies. And
this is true. This is very
so true. Look at all the Bond girls. Yeah, it does. I agree.
But the rules about action movies is, did you ever notice that in action movies, the hero always has to save the girl?
Yes.
You always gotta save the ass first.
Yeah. Right.
Later. And I just felt the same way with Olivia Wilde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Jeff Bridges, he was like a, I don't know, Jeff Bridges was Jeff Bridges.
I know, right? Jeff Bridges is always Jeff Bridges, no matter what he's in.
Yeah. But I kind of think that whenever I see Jeff Bridges in a movie, I never think he's Jeff Bridges. Well, I know he's Jeff.
I think you're the only person in the entire universe.
Or no, okay, let me rephrase that. I know it's Jeff Bridges, but the character, I'm like, I can't. It's not Jeff Bridges saying lines. It's that character talking, being played by Jeff Bridges. Like,
No. I always get the sense that this is what Jeff Bridges would do.
okay, because the only good, really one of the only good things about King Kong 76 is Jeff Bridges.
Right.
One of the.
I think everyone will agree that Jeff Bridges was the only thing good about that movie.
Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, Iron Man, he's a great villain. I didn't think that was Jeff Bridges. I thought it was Obadiah Stane talking. I didn't think it was Jeff Bridges.
I think he was bald.
Yeah, well, okay. Fine. Alright. I see your point. Alright. But I felt like his performance was also... Alright, I'm just going to shut up now.
Just shut up. Just shut up before you embarrass yourself.
I think it's too late for that. I'm gonna go watch King Kong 76. Bye.
Good. Now let the people who...
What?
The one thing I want to ask you guys is, didn't you guys feel that, what's the name of the kid who played Sam? Garrett something?
Gareth?
Didn't you feel that he kind of like, it seemed he was acting more like Sam Worthington?
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
I felt that way about it. But,
That's
you know,
what
this
I
was
thought.
in the shadow of Avatar.
Yes, and this was meant to be as competition to Avatar. This was Disney's version of Avatar.
Yes.
Kind of like how the black hole was their call to Star Trek and Star Wars. Excuse me.
How dare you block on my video?
I don't know if you guys have ever seen the black hole, but that is, in my opinion, the best Walt Disney movie ever made.
I have not seen it.
It's really good, but as well as has a great soundtrack by John Barry. But if you watch that,
There's reason enough to watch it.
Yeah, it's the reason. It's their call to Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so this was their call to Avatar. And I would actually like to point to proof when it comes to Disney does this quite often. The producers, when producing The Black Hole, actually said, we need something to rival Star Trek in the box office. Give us something. So I actually honestly believe that was actually the only reason why this movie was made. Because Disney smelled a moneymaker.
Well, also, the people who were the production team was dying to make it for years. And
yeah, this is true. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah.
And they just kind of had a reason now was to, that movie made a lot of money. Let's make something that looks similar. Oh, lots of CG. There you go. Yeah, I can see that. Although, in a weird way, I almost kind of like this a little more. I don't know.
I like this a lot more than Avatar.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't really like either one, but anyway. This is slightly less. Oh my god, I'm cutting myself right now. Because this is so boring. Anyway, so crap. Anyway, so if you guys have anything else to say about the acting, we will move on to great segue, the visuals. Do we really need to say this movie?
May I start?
Yes, go ahead, Adam.
I love the visuals.
I mean, do we even need to say that this movie looks good? It looks great, but...
This movie looks so good, and it's shot so well.
Yeah, oh my god, it looks great. It looks fantastic.
The cinematography, when I was watching this movie, I was blown away by how good I thought the cinematography was.
Yeah.
The cinematography is amazing, and this is how I think more films should be shot. And I'm glad that this style is actually coming back.
There's no shaky cam.
Well, there's very little. Of the shots, it feels like whenever the camera is moving, it has a purpose.
Yep.
As as I said, I love it when the camera feels like a character. And I love this. You get that sense in, oh my god, I'm going to lose my voice by tomorrow. I get that sense with Tron Legacy. Again, it has that sort of feel of a purpose, and I love that. And the scenes that it doesn't feel like you need the camera to move, the camera actually is still. There's actually like the majority of the shots in the movies are actually still shots, and I really like that because, and again, the position of the cameras is so wonderful because at the same time they're not really moving, so you actually get to see in full what this universe looks like, and that's something that you don't really get much nowadays. You know, when you look at the crap that's made today versus, you know, stuff that was made in the 50s and 60s.
Transformers!
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh, I want to see that. That looks fun.
No, it looks blasphemy.
It looks hilarious.
Blasphemy. I will.
Adam, I turn it into a demon with a flaming skull for a head. You don't want to come at me.
You're a prime example of the dumbing down of America right there. Okay, sorry.
I'm gonna go cut myself now.
Go cry. Cut yourself and bleed to death.
Jesus fuck, man. Tone it down. Tone it down.
Jesus Christ. Freaking.
All right.
Dumb down of America.
Back to the segment at hand. The look of the film.
Right. Okay. So yeah, back to the visuals of Tron Legacy and not to the downfall of America. So yeah, the movie looks great.
God damn freaking film.
All right, Adam. Take the happy pills again.
My happy pills are all gone when I saw that Vampire Hunter was being made.
Chill. Take it. Go buy more. We'll wait for you. No. Okay, the visuals look great. And one thing that, Adam, you actually brought up to me earlier in the week was that they almost try to make it look like technology and the look of this world has progressed since the 80s. And that's one thing I really liked about it. It felt like a different world, but it felt like it had the same roots.
Yeah.
I like the lighting. The lighting is, of course, fantastic. It looks like the inside of a computer to me.
Oh, and I would also like to mention, this is my one complaint with the visuals. During the flashback scene where Kevin is explaining the coup,
Yeah.
I thought it would have been cool if they actually downgraded the effects and made it look like it was from the 80s again.
Yes, I agree. And that was my problem with
then
the flashbacks.
that would have been cool, and I would have been really, really satisfied with that. Yeah, that was my only complaint with the visuals.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Again, I have chronic headaches, so this comes up a lot. This is going to come up a lot when we review movies with a lot of CG and a lot of just colorful visuals. I get headaches very easily when watching movies, and this was a prime example of a movie that gave me a headache. And you know, the brightness of the colors really bothered my head. And there are a couple of shots in the movie where I have to kind of look away because I get nauseous. But that's just me, of course. So this is a very slanted review for me, where a lot of it's going to say I think, I feel, and again, the visuals for me could become a problem when they give me a headache and I can't enjoy them. But otherwise, the movie looks great. Again, as I said earlier, I love the retro look of the arcade, and I love the retro look of Sam's room back in the 80s.
Which I would like to bring something up that's interesting. If you look at the coloration of the real world, it's reddish. Orange, red, and black. Once you go into the Tron world, you know, the grid world, it's blue.
Yeah.
Or, like, the majority of it's blue.
Black and blue and red all over.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure what that has to deal with this, Vampire Hunter lover, but, you know.
I just was interested in the title. I have no idea what it's about. I know it involves Abraham Lincoln and he's slaying vampires. That's all I know about it. It sounds cool. That's it.
Doesn't sound cool. It's destroying our history. Yeah, I'll shut up.
Please. I'm kidding, of course. All right. So yeah, the visuals look great. The action scenes are breathtaking. It's the only part of the movie where I'm like, oh, I care now.
Oh yeah, the action scenes are awesome.
Yeah, that disc fight.
Yeah, and even what I like about that is that even during the action scenes, the camera doesn't move much.
Yeah, and that's what I really liked about it. We get to see what goes on.
I know.
And it's very, I feel like it's very original action. The fact that it's a game makes it interesting, and
it feels like a game too. That's what's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like a live action video game. And one thing that I really like is that in the original Tron, the first gladiatorial thing that Kevin gets involved in is that kind of variant on Pong, where you have to hit the ball against the bar and it destroys the enemy. Of course, Sam uses the discs. It's a similar idea though. And what I like is it's kind of like an advancement of the game. And like originally it was just like a 2D kind of hit the ball there and it goes down there. Now it's like you can throw it everywhere. It bounces off the walls and ricochets everywhere. And it's awesome looking. And you get scared because it's like you don't know where it's going to pop up. And you got to throw your disc first, otherwise you die. I really liked that. I thought that was cool. I love the motorcycle scene. I felt I was totally invested in that. I felt the intensity of the motorcycles going under, over, through things, destroying other motorcycles.
Again, that's being very faithful to Tron, the original.
Yes, and again, well, yeah, even this one was a little more three-dimensional because they go under the floor.
Again, it's the advancement of time.
Right. You really love the, except I didn't really hate, but I didn't like the last action scene with the planes.
Yeah, that was just really corny.
I just thought it was generic.
I didn't find it generic, I just found it really corny.
Yeah. But overall, I thought the action was the best thing about the movie.
Yeah.
So
GORIZARD, the visuals for you.
Well, I really love the special effects in this film. I fell in love with the look of the film from first viewing the theatrical trailer for the film, and because of the visuals and the trailer, I really hyped this movie up the ass, so I really couldn't wait for Tron to come out Christmas time. And upon watching this movie, I wasn't exactly disappointed, but I was pleased with it. But like I said, there could have been a few tweaks to make the film better. Example, like the story.
Yeah.
Special effects are terrific. I mean, they really outdid themselves to groundbreaking special effects. I mean, it seems like every year Hollywood produces a movie that just breaks new ground in visual effects. 2009 was Avatar. 2010 was Tron Legacy. 2011 was what was it? Doesn't matter.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes, yeah.
Yeah, Rise of the Apes, yeah. The visuals in Tron, they're truly superior, and they really pay good homage to the original film with these new enhanced special effects, but not kind of like disrespecting the original. They're just staying true and paying homage to the original effects in the first film.
Yeah. I agree.
Which I have to say, the visual effects in the original Tron were groundbreaking for the time.
Yeah, they were.
Extremely groundbreaking for the time.
Yeah, I thought it was made in like '87 when I saw the effects, and it was like I was like '82. No way. And
I enjoy watching the original Tron mainly because of the visual effects.
Yeah.
Visual effects, to me, what I really love about the original one is that it really shows the progression of time and how much we have advanced since then.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. I completely agree. I mean, that was the birth of CG.
Yeah, it was like one of the... Yeah.
Well, no, it actually wasn't. There was something before that was very famous that had technically CG in it.
Oh no, No, it was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That was the first movie to use CG.
Right, that was it. I can't believe I didn't remember that. I love that movie. Anyway, so if you guys don't have anything else to say about the visuals, the final aspect of the film, I gotta mention this. I don't know if it really deserves to be its own separate category, but I was really, really blown away by it. Daft Punk's music.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my god, that is so good. I have it on my iPod, the entire soundtrack on my iPod.
You know, I said the action was the best part of the movie. No, Daft Punk's soundtrack was.
The soundtrack's the best part, by far. It's definitely on my top 10 favorite soundtracks. And actually, no, it's actually on my top 5 favorite soundtracks. The thing that I really like about it is that it sounds modern, but it still has that orchestra in there.
Yep.
Which is something I'm missing from like Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer just sounds modern. I know that he uses an orchestra, but to me he just sounds modern. Because his score is very bombastic. Daft Punk, I mean, I was a fan of Daft Punk because I'm a sucker for techno, but I fit good in the 90s. Daft Punk's score, you know, when I heard that Daft Punk was going to make the music, I was expecting a lot of techno. And other than in the bar scene, there wasn't much techno.
No,
it was all like orchestrations.
Yeah.
And the theme is so good.
Yes.
Do 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 do.
Yeah, I love that.
And the end credit music. I actually sat through the credits just to listen through the music.
I liked what I heard of it. I didn't sit through the whole thing, but I liked what I heard of it. Overall, the music is just fantastic.
Yeah. And then I even love when Sam goes into Kevin's...
Oh, I wanted to bring that up, Separate Ways, and Sweet Dreams.
And Sweet Dreams. And Sweet Dreams used to be my favorite songs forever. I loved Sweet Dreams.
Yeah.
I love that song by the Eurythmics. And I was just really cool because I was having like a little jam party in the audience there while listening to this. And as the movie progressed with Daft Punk's music, I actually found my mouth dropping at how much the music added to the scenes.
Yeah, to the atmosphere and everything. I agree.
Especially after I know we said spoiler alert, but I'm going to emphasize it again. Spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen. When Kevin dies, how suddenly the music, it's growing and growing and building and building and building. And so when finally they integrate with each other, all of a sudden it's really calm.
Yeah.
And I love Daft Punk's music. It was totally unexpected in my book. It
shocked me.
And for the better, yeah.
I mean, I wasn't expecting anything from us. I rarely go into a movie these days expecting a good soundtrack. Movies these days generally have terrible soundtracks.
Or I wouldn't say terrible as much as just plain old generic.
Yeah. This, recently movies that have impressed me with their soundtracks, Tron Legacy, Captain America, and Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I have to say out of those, Tron Legacy did it for me. I love Tron Legacy's soundtrack. I'm trying to think of a movie that never mind. We're talking about Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tron Legacy's soundtrack. I know a lot of people don't actually listen to like soundtracks, but you really need to check it out.
Yeah, I listen to this separately all the time. Yeah.
Now, not only is it really just awesome to listen to, but it's so fun.
I would fight with lasers to this sound.
I know. It's like I would not be able to drive while listening to Daft Punk's music for this movie.
No, me neither. I can't drive with music. So that was really all I had all I have written down here that I wanted to discuss. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No.
Nah.
All right. So
the visuals were good. The soundtrack was amazing, and the movie was fun. But you covered it all.
All right.
Yeah.
So recommendations and scores. So why don't we go in like we do usually, reverse order of the title. So Adam.
Okay. Well, I would recommend this to everybody. Kids would enjoy it because it's, I know everyone else disagrees with me here, but kids will enjoy it because it's colorful and full of action. But adults will enjoy it because it has a rather fun story. Yes, cliched, but still fun. You get Jeff Bridges, so anybody who likes Jeff Bridges is going to like this movie, which is pretty much everybody. And it's just an all-around, to me, it's an all-around great film, and I'm probably going to give it the highest score out of everybody else. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Whoa. All right, so GORIZARD.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I recommend it for everybody. It's one of those films that you could just sit at home with the family. It's a fun, entertaining, awkward film. And that's what it is, and that's how I saw it as. It was a fun film. I wasn't expecting an Academy Award type of film. It's a Disney film. It's Tron. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be, like a roller coaster ride. And I had a lot of fun with this film, so I recommend it for everybody. It has a great soundtrack. It has amazing special effects and so acting and plot. But this is a total must-see for anybody who wants to see a mindless, fun, popcorn sci-fi action film. So I'm going to give this 3 stars out of 4.
Okay, that's it? No. So me, Zazubaar, Billy, the guy who everyone's going to want to kill after this review. Alright, so I'll start with the recommends. I'm actually going to recommend this movie, but not to me, or not to anyone else who won't fit into this demographic that I think this movie works for. And this will be brought up whenever I post my Tron review. If you like 8-bit games, if you like games where the story or the premise, like what was done with the original Mario Brothers game, is there to set up the action, you're gonna love this, and you're gonna love the original Tron. If you want to see a fun movie, where you're not really expecting much except for intense and creative action, and what in way of a great overall impact in terms of music and visuals, then yeah, this is a good movie. Here's the problem. I didn't get anything out of this. I just felt empty after I left the theater, except for the music. That was it. That was the only thing that stayed with me, and the visuals too. But the visuals are kind of go with the movie itself, and overall, really, the only thing that stayed with me was the soundtrack, and the color blue. But I'm just gonna overall, I recommend the soundtrack to anyone who likes good music. If you don't have a problem with overuse of CG, then this movie should be a no-brainer that you have to see this. Even people who don't like CG, I think this is a good argument for the use of CG. So if a bad story and flat acting kill a movie for you, which they do often for me, then this is not a movie for you. You probably won't get much out of this like I did. The bad acting killed it for me. For some cases it was just flat and really bad. And the lack of a really engaging story made it even worse. So I gotta go with a 2.5 out of 5. Halfway there, but not quite. Only because this movie didn't do much for me besides eat up 2 hours and give me an awesome soundtrack. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. And that's all I have to say. So if you guys don't have anything else to say about Tron Legacy, we can move on to Lost, Found, but Not Filmed.
Yeah, I have one last thing to say.
Alright, go for it, Adam.
Buy it on Blu-ray, it's totally worth it. Tron Legacy is one of those movies where you need to buy it on Blu-ray. There's no exceptions. You need to buy it on Blu-ray.
I watched it on Stars, so...
Yeah, Stars doesn't do it justice.
Well... I saw it in theaters, so I remembered. Anyway, so anything else to say about Tron Legacy?
The one last thing I want to mention, this is going to be my last rant about the movie, is the fact that the filmmakers were trying to impress the audiences at the beginning. And it just seems like for the first 20 minutes, they just were like, ta-da! And that's all we got. So the rest of the movie is going to be some generic bullshit.
Yes.
Did you know anything like that?
I felt like that. Yeah, I felt like that for sure. The best part of the movie is the first, like, 40 minutes.
Exactly.
I agree. I love everything before he goes on the grid. And everything after that is just generic bullshit, like you said. So that's pretty much my overall assessment.
After the first 40 minutes, everything's just downhill.
Yeah, I agree.
I disagree, of course, but
yeah, totally. All right, so Lost found, but never filmed.
I am not going first this time. No callbacks.
All right, GORIZARD, you're the only one of us who hasn't gone first. So would you like to do the honors?
I think Zazubaar should go first because I'm really interested to find out what you picked that was so obvious.
Oh, all right. Okay, so me, Zazubaar, major Batman fan, of course. Batman's my favorite superhero of all time. So, of course, obviously, I've been dying to do a Batman movie on this show for a while now. I don't think we have any scheduled to review this year, but I have a couple of projects that were never made that I like to cover. And the first one is the most obvious. I think it's one everyone is familiar with if you know your Batman film history. Today I'm going to be doing the unfilmed sequel to Batman and Robin, Batman Triumphant. Alright, so first things first, I need to pull up my little page here. Excuse me, just give me 1 second. Alright, so here's the overall backstory. The film was, of course, set to be directed by Joel Schumacher, and the main cast was overall set to be the same. Batman Triumphant was scheduled before Batman and Robin was even done with regular filming. The fact is that Warner Brothers was so impressed with Joel Schumacher's raw footage, the dailies as they're called by film buffs, is that they automatically wanted a sequel. They automatically said, let's get a Batman 5 going. And they made sure that they were going to get Joel Schumacher right away. He signed on to direct the 5th one. Well, at least at first. And they figured that if the movie was successful, that George Clooney and what's his name? Chris O'Connell is his name. Chris O'Donnell. Chris O'Donnell is his name. The guy who plays Robin would follow in the suit. And that's about all they needed. Batgirl wasn't going to be in it. And I don't even... Is Alfred even good? Oh, well, I guess Alfred was supposed to die. Anyway. So he's not on the casting list. Anyway. So, pretty much, the film was going to be a direct sequel to Batman and Robin. And they... Warner Brothers wanted a very specific feel and idea for the film. They wanted Scarecrow to be the villain because he was hugely popular from the animated series. And they wanted the same campy, child-friendly feel as as Batman and Robin had, and as Batman Forever had. So they wanted pretty much Batman and Robin 2, just with different villains. So let me pitch you guys who was going to play Scarecrow and see how you react, because I don't know how you guys feel about this actor. Jeff Goldblum as Scarecrow. As Jonathan Crane.
From Jurassic Park?
Yeah, Ian Malcolm as Scarecrow.
I don't see it. I really don't see it.
That's gross.
But they also bounced around 2 other actors. Ewan McGregor as Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow.
I can figure that a little bit more, but not too much.
And last, and maybe least if you are so inclined, Johnny Depp as Scarecrow.
No, I can see that.
I can see that too.
Would he be a good Scarecrow? Maybe not. It'll all depend on how he would be directed, but
I would say that he wouldn't be a good Scarecrow for what Batman Begins did.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good Scarecrow from the animated series. But there's one more name down here.
Uh-oh. Steve
Buscemi as Scarecrow.
I can picture that too, to be honest.
I can't. He's too old.
Well, not...
This was 1999.
Yeah, he would have been... No? When would this have been made?
This would have been released in 1999.
Yeah, he would have been too old.
Yeah.
But I think he's got the voice.
Yeah.
To do Scarecrow. Because he's a creeper.
True. But I don't see him as being an intellectual, and Scarecrow is supposed to be an intellectual.
Well, this is Joel Schumacher you're talking here, but
No, this is Warner Brothers talking, because Joel Schumacher eventually signed off Batman Triumphant, but I was going to get to that a little later. Joel Schumacher hated the 2 Batman films he made.
Oh, okay.
He thought they were terrible. Joel Schumacher decided to be the studio's gopher. He was making them money. Because Batman was a popular brand, and mothers needed a movie to take their stupid children to. So Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, and Batman Triumphant would have sufficed. And Joel Schumacher didn't want to do Batman Triumphant because he thought that he had beaten up the Batman culture enough. But we'll get to that a little later. So there were going to be other villains, though. Of course, this is a Batman movie after all. The Joker was supposed to reappear, played by Jack Nicholson. But he was supposed to only make a cameo. Because in the film, Batman Bruce Wayne was supposed to be put on Scarecrow's fear toxin and was going to hallucinate about Joker killing him. So I would have liked to see that. That could have been cool. You know, Jack Nicholson's fun. Fine. Clooney's a terrible Batman, but, you know, whatever. Batman fans, cover your ears. Harley Quinn was supposed to make her first live-action appearance in this film, played by Madonna. Batman fans, I'm sorry, Batman fans. I'm sorry. I know.
Oh shit.
Remember, this is the same continuity as Batman and Robin. So Arnold Schwarzenegger played Mr. Freeze. Let's remember that.
It's true.
Madonna as Harley Quinn. Now, here's the thing though. She wasn't supposed to be Joker's girlfriend, but instead Joker's daughter. I hate that so much. Harley Quinn's origin story is one of my favorites of all the Batman villains. It's tragic, but it's also very real. You know, being seduced by the Joker. I hate her being his daughter. But of course, money, 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 money. We need more villains. Mad Hatter, as portrayed by Martin Short. I have nothing to say. I don't know. Mad Hatter has never been a favorite of mine. Fine, but Martin Short is Jervis Tetch? No, because Jervis Tetch is supposed to be this very, very, very well-spoken fan of Alice in Wonderland, obviously. I can't imagine him reading off the lines from Alice in Wonderland in any kind of intelligent manner. Unlike Jervis Tetch was in the animated series. He was this well-spoken, insane, but clearly well-spoken reader of Old English. And I can't imagine Martin Short reading his lines that way. I doubt that they would have quoted Alice in Wonderland nearly as much as they should have in the movie, because this is, of course, the same continuity as Batman Forever. But, you know, still, I expect that from the Mad Hatter, and we wouldn't have got it. But remember, people, we need more money, so we need one more villain. Man-Bat was supposed to make his first live-action appearance in this movie. I don't know who this... Sorry?
How many villains are supposed to be in this film?
So technically 5.
Oh my god, you know what this is?
What?
This is a remake to the 1966 Batman.
Yeah. Yes.
I bet you that would have been better than this.
It was. Man-Bat, I love Man-Bat. I thought he had a great introduction in the animated series. I don't know who this guy is, but he was supposed to be played by Mark Lynn Baker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you, okay, remember, not nearly anywhere near as big as a Batman fan as you. Could you remind me who Man-Bat was?
Man-Bat was Dr. Kirk Langstrom, who was working on a serum to overcome his hearing disorder.
Yeah, I remember now. Okay.
And of course, bats have awesome echolocation, so he became Man-Bat. And
I remember now.
Beat the crap out of Batman. I don't know how they would have done that in 1999 without using CG. It would have looked terrible. I mean, if they used a suit, it would have looked terrible. I mean, suits don't look good flying unless you've got the right people behind the camera, and I don't think they could have done it.
Agent Zazubaar, if only he was alive.
Yeah, he could have done Man-Bat. You know, this really just, it would have been a terrible sequel. Do I have to say that this would have been bad? I mean, this is a sequel to Batman and Robin. I mean, there's really, I can't, you know, say that this has been bad, because it would have been bad regardless. Even if Joel Schumacher wanted to, you know, give his respect to the Batman fans he had fucked over, this wouldn't have been the film to do it with. Here's the thing, though. Joel Schumacher not only didn't want to make this movie, but he couldn't have made this movie because, of course, Batman and Robin was released in 1997 and was raped by critics and fans of Batman. The movie bombed, well, it didn't bomb, but it underperformed at the box office. So Warner Brothers canceled Batman Triumphant. They weren't done with The Dark Knight, of course, since after this they planned to do 2 projects. They planned to do, or 3 actually. They planned to do a live-action Batman Beyond movie. We'll save that for another day. 2 adaptations of Frank Miller's Batman stories, Batman Year One and The Dark Knight Returns, which would have been awful, but that's also stories for other days, and we'll get into that in upcoming ZGC episodes. So, Batman Triumphant. It would have been terrible. Do I really have to say it? You couldn't have made a good sequel to Batman and Robin. So that's all I have to say. So, what do you guys think?
May I just say I kind of like the Mad Hatter.
I like the Mad Hatter as a villain too. I don't think he, you know, Joel Schumacher would.
I like the Mad Hatter because I'm a sucker when people start quoting classic literature.
Right, me too. But I doubt Martin Short could have read the lines properly.
You see, here's the thing with Martin Short. Martin Short has the look of the Mad Hatter, at least from the animated series.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have portrayed a good Mad Hatter.
What do you guys think of well, I already said that. What do you guys think of Jack Nicholson coming back? Do you think that's just fan service? I think it is.
He is my second favorite Joker. I would have loved that.
But it's just fan service. He wouldn't have served any purpose to the story.
But it's Jack Nicholson as the Joker again.
Well, remember who you're talking to.
Oh yeah, fanboy. Okay.
Well, it would have been cool anyway. It's Jack Nicholson. He would have been fun. And seeing him terrifying Batman would have been cool.
Well, that's the thing that I like about Jack Nicholson as the Joker. He's terrifying. I mean, he's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And that's one reason why I like him so much, is because he's so crazy, and that's what makes him so terrifying. But you'll disagree with me on that, and we'll fight.
We'll not here. So, that's me, Batman Triumphant. It's terrible. So who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go next. I chose a film that wasn't made.
Of course.
Would have been cool. I'm sure at least Zazubaar has heard of it. And it's Creation, 1931.
Oh! Yay!
And I just really liked it. And what it was, of course, this is during the time of the Great Depression. And it had just started. And Willis O'Brien had an amazing idea of making basically another Lost World, but not calling it the Lost World. And he called it Creation. And RKO... Sorry, was someone going to say something?
No, I'm just surprised that the Creation... No, keep going.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Anyways, and RKO greenlighted the project, but they wanted Willis O'Brien to show them exactly what they could do. But anyways, Willis O'Brien, I discovered that there wasn't actually a script written out for it, which I thought there was. But no, instead only really detailed story arcs or story plot points written by Willis O'Brien himself, which I have to say, he was actually quite a writer. He loved to write. That was his second favorite thing to do other than animate. But anyways, and so the only piece of footage that was actually filmed for Creation, and I'm sure Zazubaar, you can find it on YouTube, because I have seen it up on YouTube, is one sequence in there with Triceratops' mother and 2 babies, and it's really cool. But anyways, I'm reading this from Wikipedia, all right, and I know this is true because I have also heard it from the 3-hour documentary on the 2-disc King Kong special edition, the original thing. Anyways, the friends and family of American tycoon Thornton Armitage are enjoying a luxury cruise aboard a yacht, the Titan. Steve, the personal tutor of the mentor of Thornton Armitage's son, Billy, teaches Billy theory of evolution. Yeah, laugh. Billy's older sister, I believe it's Elaine. Yes, it is. Elaine flirts with Steve, who mistakenly believes that she is in love with him. Elaine's fiancé watches from the distance as the two kiss. When Steve looks to confess his love for Elaine, she explains that the kiss meant nothing. Embarrassed and enraged, Steve threatens to quit the crew. A tempest forms, threatening to destroy the ship. Luckily, a Chilean submarine surfaces and encourages the crew of the Titan to board. The yacht is destroyed just as the submarine dives. The submarine crew see strange underwater creatures, then surface on a tropical island. The crew soon discover that dinosaurs exist on the island and promptly escape from a stampede of, I believe it was going to be a mixture of brontosauruses and triceratops. Later, the Chilean Navy are attacked by a prehistoric rhinoceros-like mammal called the Arsinotherium. The Arsinotherium gores many of the sailors to death before knocking the rest of the fleeing sailors from a log bridge while one runs to the other side, only to be suffocated to death by a woolly mammoth. The survivors, assuming that they will never see civilization again, build a shelter to live in. After Ned Hallett shoots a brontosaurus, the sauropod retaliates by destroying the shelter. Ned Hallett leaves the camp in anger after being scolded and takes his frustration out at a baby triceratops. This is the scene that was filmed. The mother rushes to the aid of the infant and kills Hallett. Really cool sequence, by the way. While the camp is exploring ancient ruins, a block gives way, causing Elaine to fall. Elaine is attacked by a pteranodon, which is driven off by Steve. Shortly afterwards, the crew are chased to a temple by an aggressive stegosaurus. The crew is trapped between a stegosaurus and a Tyrannosaurus rex. Rather than kill the crew, the two dinosaurs fight one another. In the end, the Tyrannosaurus kills the stegosaurus by ripping off one of its legs and feeds it to the infant as the crew escapes. After searching the temple, the crew discover a type of metal needed to get their radio to work. The crew try to send an SOS, but a volcano begins to erupt, causing mass hysteria among the dinosaurs. A pteranodon destroys the tower used to conduct the signal, leaving the crew stranded to be killed by the volcano. Facing death, Elaine and Steve finally confess their love for one another. As Billy faints from the heat exhaustion, a rescue plane arrives and saves the crew from certain doom. Aboard a rescue ship, Thornton Armitage boasts of his adventure. He is mocked, and suddenly a pteranodon flies aboard the ship, proving his story to be true. The film ends with Steve and Elaine sharing a laugh as they look forward to their new life together. Now, what is so interesting about this is what gave Marion C. Cooper the green light for King Kong. Because, as we said in a King Kong chat that hasn't been uploaded yet, because it's taking forever to edit, King Kong was originally just supposed to be basically a captured gorilla fighting a Komodo dragon. But that would have never happened. And then it was supposed to be a man in the suit, but that could never happen. This gave Marion C. Cooper, the true notion that he can indeed make a good movie for King Kong. And if you really look at the outline that I just laid out, look at King Kong. There are some extreme similarities. And the most notable one that I could find was the log sequence. The Arsinocereum chasing the sailors onto the log. Now in King Kong, it is funny, because in the original version of the script, written by
Edgar Wallace?
Thank you. Edgar Wallace. He writes that an Arsinocereum is supposed to chase the sailors onto the log, and then Kong is on the other side so they can't escape. In the second draft, it was changed to a Styracosaur, which he was cut out of the film, even though I think they shot it, just like the Lost Spiders pit sequence, and chases them onto the log, and Kong is on the other side so they can't get off. Luckily, the Styracosaur actually makes its appearance in Son of Kong the same year. But just really looking at those similarities is it's so funny looking at the ideas. And another thing that I want to bring up is the idea of the woolly mammoth being in the movie. Ray Harryhausen in 1938, to get his name on the map, actually made a short stop-motion movie of a woolly mammoth gorging a prehistoric man because of the idea of creation, which I think is really, really funny. And again, I would just like to say, basically have been a remake to The Lost World. I want to know, what do you guys think this would have been like as a film?
You know, honestly, when I think about creation, it's mostly in the realm of it would have had impressive effects.
Yeah.
And overall, it would have been a fun adventure story. I don't know if it would have had the same, social relevance as King Kong had, or the same originality as The Lost World had. I honestly think that it kind of would have mostly been there to say, oh my god, look at these effects, they're incredible. I mean, it would have been a fun movie, a great adventure science fiction monster movie, with probably some good acting in it. But I don't know if it would have, had the same importance and relevance as King Kong.
Yeah. I would also just like to say, look at all the creatures that were supposed to be in it. We got a pteranodon. We have an Arsinocereum. We have a Brontosaurus. We have a Stegosaurus. We have, of course, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Those are all in King Kong, and I bet, actually I'm positive, that the only reason why those are in King Kong was because Willis O'Brien actually built the armatures and the models.
Yeah.
And having these already made would save the production of Kong actually a rather significant amount of money.
Yeah, I would theorize the same thing.
And the only reason why Creation was canceled was because that one sequence that I was talking about that was filmed cost $30,000, which was ridiculous.
Of course.
That would have been like $5 million today, probably a little more. But anyways, what happened was, and I know this from the documentary that I watched, RKO gave the outlines to Creation to Marion C. Cooper, and Marion C. Cooper, I think he honestly liked it, but because he wanted to make King Kong, he said he didn't like it. And so that's how they made King Kong, was a bit out of his own selfish means. But thank God we got King Kong. Yeah. So I guess that's all really I have to say about Creation.
I would have loved to see it made, of course. I mean, it would have been cool to see, and that's a awesome.
Yeah, I will say that it would have been really interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think it would be very interesting if Peter Jackson took Creation on.
Yeah, I would actually really like that.
I don't know. Maybe as a tribute to Willis O'Brien, it could work cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little too similar to other dinosaur adventure films that we've seen. That I don't know. I don't know if it would work well. You know, as its own standalone thing.
What's the matter, man?
But overall, it's a really interesting story in the context of King Kong's history.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. I just found this out. Marion C. Cooper intended to use that remaining footage in King Kong with the Triceratops, but he said it didn't fit in with any of the other movie. Right. So it just remained to be there. So that means that the Triceratops was actually supposed to be in King Kong 2. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And if you watch that scene, it really shows what Willis O'Brien could do.
Yeah.
I mean, just watch the sequence and you will know what I'm talking about.
In the first novelization of the script for King Kong, which came out in 1932, and I read 2 versions of it. They have the Triceratops scene or something similar to it in the script or in the novelization.
Yeah.
Right after the Stegosaurus and right before the log scene. So I don't know if it was just what they planned to use the footage for, or if it was something different. I'm not sure, but I remember there being a Triceratops mentioned in the original script for King Kong.
Yes.
So, Adam, you have anything else to add?
Nope.
All right, so GORIZARD, go.
Not again.
GORIZARD, you there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right. All right, so you're up.
And the film that I'll choose is yet another video game movie, I think. And it's a live action feature film with action on Metal Gear Solid.
Oh no.
And it's not just Uwe Boll who tried to get it off the ground. It was also some other Hollywood producer and also the creators of the franchise. But I'll get to Uwe Boll later. Apparently Konami was interested in adapting Metal Gear Solid into a feature film. And Warner Brothers had permission to produce a film. Although it was still in development, but it didn't really go anywhere beyond that. Anyway, so one of the first people who came aboard was Uwe Boll. Although no one from Warner Brothers or Konami had actually talked to Uwe Boll, and this is a funny story. Apparently, 2 French guys approached them to produce Metal Gear Solid. They handed him their script, and apparently he liked it and agreed to do it. He later found out that he was played, that he was scammed, and Konami never intended for Uwe Boll to ever direct Metal Gear Solid. And the exact words that they would never sell the franchise to a Ray Bull, especially him, because he has a tendency of ruining video game franchises with his films. Also, Ray Bull felt bad, so he started saying that it's just a money-grubbing scheme, and he didn't want nothing to do. He didn't want to be a part of it. So yeah, he was butthurt. Anyways, one of the other filmmakers that were interested in the film was Michael De Lucia. I think I'm pronouncing this right, and he was the producer of few films like hold on, I'm looking this up. It is slow. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, Rush Hour, Austin Powers, Friday 7. So yeah, he basically produced cult films, and the director of Equilibrium, Kurt Wimmer, was commissioned to write a script. Now, David Hayter, the voice for the main protagonist of the video games, he commissioned his script for the executives at Warner Brothers, but they passed on his pitch, apparently due to some political things within Hollywood. But David Hayter, he wrote the script to X-Men, The Scorpion King, the first one, and Watchmen. So
that's true.
I really love to see his take on Metal Gear Solid. No one knows these characters better than him. He voiced the character Snake for all the games. No one knows this character better than him, and he would have been the perfect person to write and direct the Metal Gear Solid film. Also probably play Snake as well. Anyways, at the last minute in 2010, Konami backed out of the project indefinitely because they thought that if a movie didn't perform good at the box office, it would affect the video games greatly. So the deal was canceled, and a Metal Gear Solid film was never produced. And it's a pity because the story of Metal Gear Solid is so intriguing, so compelling, it just has to be made into a movie. The characters are so raw and realistic, despite all the unrealistic things that they do with their abilities and the supernatural psychic powers and the whole super soldier thing. But Metal Gear Solid is a film that has to be turned into a movie. It's one of those video games that needs its own film franchises like Halo or Uncharted. And it's just a shame that they didn't go through with that. It would have been a great film series with the right writers, director, and actors. So, yeah. My pick of the week.
I agree. I would love to see Metal Gear in a movie. To me, one of the most interesting things about Metal Gear is the story. I've never been a huge fan of stealth gameplay, and when I first started playing Metal Gear 4, I was mostly intrigued about the story. I thought it was really interesting. I didn't really like the stealth combat,
what's the matter?
but I thought the story was really interesting, so I would love to see Metal Gear as a movie.
Told them.
Yeah. So, guess we covered everything for today.
Yeah. No big theme, no big moral lesson at the end.
Sounds like Tron Legacy.
It smells like Teen Spirit. No. Alright, so I think that about does it for this edition of ZGC Monthly Reviews. The third episode, we reviewed Tron Legacy. And then we talked about Batman Triumphant, Creation, and Metal Gear Solid, the movie. So thank you, as always, for joining us. I am the host, Zazubaar.
I am GORIZARD.
And I am the ever-losing his voice, Adam Noyce from Chopper Pilot 5.
Thank you very much for joining us, as always. And if you want a preface to this particular review, check out my review of Tron. And definitely subscribe to GORIZARD and Adam. And if one day you happen to be perusing the internet and come across my channel, don't be afraid to subscribe to that as well. All those links will be in the description below. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all soon. Oh, And I probably should mention the movie we're going to review next time, shouldn't I?
That would help.
Wow, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Next time on ZGC Monthly Reviews, Episode 4, we will be reviewing Avatar.
FML.
Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all soon.